Final assignment. This is what you will spend the last week and a half of classes working on. It's a little bit longer writing assignment, longer reading assignment. And that's why you have the extra time. You need to complete all of this by midnight on Friday, June 29th. That is so I have the chance to look at everything and submit grades. Okay? So let me explain what you're doing here. What we're going to be looking at for the final assignment is contemporary philosophy. That means philosophy of the more recent years. And we're going to use it to apply to, or see how it applies to some of the things we've already looked into for the semester. So what we're going to do is to read a book called The Stranger by Albert Camus. Now, the book is a story. It has a lot of philosophical concepts in it, but it is a story about one main character named Marceau and the various sort of things he gets into. Here is a picture of the author, and if you want to read more about him, you can see he's sort of contemporary of us today, and he is what we would call an existentialist. So, what you need to do, I give you about a week to just read this book. You could focus on just reading the book if you want to. If you click this link, the book will open up. It's divided into parts and chapters, whatever. But it's a story about Marceau, although his name is rarely mentioned in the book. But Marceau is the main character. It's told through his eyes, his head, that sort of thing. And a number of things happen to Marceau. His mother dies. He starts a romantic relationship, a friendship. There's a murder, trial. He's in jail. There you go. But I'll leave it for what it is. A lot of people at first think of Marceau as a very strange person, partially why he's called the Stranger. I like to think that if we think about ourselves, there's a lot of us in Marceau, but I'll leave that for you to decide. So, read that book, and then for your final writing assignment, what you need to do is to write an answer or explore one of the following questions. Only one of them. You do not need to do all of these, okay? So let me go through each one briefly. So Camus' The Stranger is an existentialist novel, which in a big sense means it's discussing the big question of what is the meaning of life. Here is one question that you could attempt to respond to for your final paper. It seems that in a lot of ways Marceau lives in his own quote-unquote world throughout the book. What realities or truths does Marceau ignore or reject throughout the book? How does this benefit and harm him? So I always want you to make sure you use examples from the book and ideas from Plato's allegory of the cave, since that dealt with the idea of reality and truth in your response. The next one, question that you could respond to, is Marceau has a number of relationships throughout the book. How are Marceau's friends, family, and romantic relationships different or strange compared to what we think typical relationships should be like? And make sure to use examples from the book and ideas from Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics in your response. You remember the Aristotle reading was about friendship and relationships in general. So you can answer that question. Again, you're only answering one of these. Choose one to explore. Marceau is often described as apathetic or uncaring, but some might say he is quite content. However, has Marceau actually gained control over his mind and body to find peacefulness in a chaotic and meaningless world? Make sure to use examples from the book and any ideas from the ancient Eastern philosophy readings in your response. So you could explore the notion of Marceau being different, but maybe he has actually found some form of peace and contentment. And this is how he goes about doing it. And of course, he looks strange to us, but we're all stressed out, anxiety-ridden people to begin with. In prison, this is the next question, Marceau is offered salvation through religion. How does Marceau feel about religion and God, and how do his beliefs affect the way he lives and makes decisions. So make sure to use examples from the book and ideas from medieval philosophy readings in your response. And again, you don't have to use all of the stuff from medieval philosophy or from Plato or from Aristotle, just bits and pieces that you think apply and make sense. All right. Almost to the end here. One interpretation of The Stranger is that it argues for the idea that life is meaningless and random. How does Marceau question or doubt the things in life we typically find meaningful? Make sure to use examples from the book and ideas from Descartes' meditations in your response. If you recall, Descartes was largely about this doubting and questioning things, and so in many ways, Marceau is doubting and questioning a lot of things himself. You can make some connections there. Some might say Marceau is immoral or amoral. How does Marceau make decisions, and does Marceau have any ethics or morality? Make sure to use examples from the book and ideas from John Stuart Mill's Utilitarianism in your response. So here we're given, in utilitarianism, a very clear ethical sort of foundation for making decisions. Let's compare that to Marceau. And finally, if you really want to, you can come up with your own paper topic as long as it uses examples from the book and ideas from one of the other semester's readings. And so you can simply email me what you would like to do if you want to double check that it sort of makes sense. So choose one of these to write your final paper on, or you can make up your own as long as you sort of check it with me and make sure it makes sense. There is a rubric here that you can look at. This will be a little different than the rubric that was used for the shorter writing assignments. You can take a look at that to see what I'm looking for. And you will submit it just how you have always submitted your writing assignments. And all of that, again, is due by midnight on Friday, June 29th. Or as long as I have it by the time I wake up on Saturday, June 30th. Okay. As always, let me know if you have any questions. And again, I look forward to seeing what you come up with.